Jai Gurudev, as we continue our discussion, could you share more about the significance of the specific mantras used in Bhojnam Vidhi? For instance, what role do these mantras play in transforming the act of eating into a sacred ritual? Jai Gurudev, that's a sacred and wonderful question. The mantras in Bhojanam Vidhi are not just words, they are vibrations that carry deep spiritual significance. Each mantra corresponds to a specific aspect of life or our life force. When we chant them, we are not just reciting sounds, but invoking these energies in our body and surroundings. Let's take a deeper look at the key mantras involved in this process. First is the Om Pranaya Swaha A. This mantra is about honoring the breath of life which sustains our existence. Our breath is a life force, and by chanting this, we are acknowledging the divine power that fuels our life. The act of offering food to this force helps us become more conscious of our own existence and the divine energy that supports it. Then there is the Om Apanaya Swaha. This mantra focuses on the elimination process or the excretion. It acknowledges the body's need to expel waste and toxins, which is vital for maintaining health. By reciting this mantra before eating, we mentally prepare ourselves for proper digestion and cleansing. Om Vyanaya Swaha. This mantra is about circulation. It honors the energy that helps our body circulate nutrients, oxygen, and life force throughout our system. It reminds us that the food we consume should nourish all parts of the body, aiding in the free flow of energy. Om Udanaya Swaha. This relates to the respiratory system, reminding us of the importance of oxygen and the breath in maintaining life. Through this mantra, we acknowledge the air and the process of inhalation, which sustains the body as much as the food we eat. Then there is Om Samanaya Swaha. This one refers to digestion. We invoke the energy responsible for turning food into nourishment. By chanting this mantra, we align our intentions with the health and harmony of our digestive system. Then there is the Om Brahmani Swaha. This is the most profound mantra in this sequence. It connects us to the supreme consciousness, the divine source, and emphasizes the immortality of the soul. It's a reminder that everything in this ritual, from the food to the breath, is ultimately a part of the larger spiritual journey towards self realization and union with the divine. In essence, the mantras in Bhojanam Vidhi turn a simple act like eating into a conscious and holistic practice where the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of life are harmonized. That's beautifully explained. It is clear that Bhojanam Vidhi involves not just honoring the food but also reflecting on the interconnectedness of all life. Can you tell us more about how this ritual influences the way practitioners view food and their relationship with it? Absolutely. One of the profound impacts of Bhojanam Vidhi is that it helps practitioners develop a deep sense of reverence and respect for food. In today's world, food is often treated merely as fuel or even a source of pleasure without much thought to its origins or its deeper spiritual significance. The ritual of Bhojanam Vidhi shifts this perspective, reminding us that food is not just sustenance for the body but a divine gift that has been provided by nature, the earth, and the cosmic energies. When we chant the mantras and go through the motions of sanctifying the food, we begin to see food not only as something to satisfy hunger, but as a sacred offering. It creates a sense of gratitude for everything that has gone into bringing that food to our plate, the hard work of farmers, the flow of nature, and the divine blessings that make the meal possible. This perspective aligns perfectly with the holistic approach promoted by His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji, who teaches that life should be lived with awareness, compassion, and mindfulness in every action. The Bhojanam Vidhi encourages us to eat mindfully, with full awareness and with respect for the food. Moreover, by offering food to the divine before eating, it reinforces the idea that we are not the sole consumers but participants in a larger sacred process. It helps to cultivate a spirit of selflessness and humility, which is at the core of spiritual growth. It's remarkable how such an ancient ritual can still have such profound relevance in today's fast paced world. Could you share any stories or examples of how this ritual has transformed people's lives or perspectives on food? Yes, I can share a few examples. One of the beautiful aspects of the Bhojanam Vidhi is how it brings people back to the sense of mindfulness and connection to the divine, even in their daily lives. For example, many people in the Art of Living community have shared that this practice has completely shifted the way they approach meals. Instead of rushing through a meal, They now sit with full awareness, taking time to honor the food and the process of eating. A particular story comes to mind. A devotee who had been practicing Bhojnam Vidhi for a few months mentioned how this ritual helped them overcome feelings of stress and anxiety related to food. They explain that by reciting the mantras and focusing on gratitude before eating, they began to feel more grounded and peaceful. It became not just about feeding the body, but about nourishing the soul as well. They no longer felt hurried or mindful about eating, and it helped them cultivate a deeper sense of presence and calmness in their everyday life. There is also a spiritual teacher who mentioned how practicing Bhojanam Vidhi regularly deepened her connection with her students as she started offering food with more reverence and joy. She found that her relationships with others also became more harmonious. She attributed this change to the awareness and respect she developed towards food, which naturally extends to her interaction with people. Another notable example is from a family who, after adopting this ritual, found that it strengthened their bond. They would gather together as a family before meals, chant the prayers, and honor the food as a collective practice. Over time, this ritual transformed their home environment, making their meals not only a time for nourishment, but also a time for spiritual connection and gratitude. These stories are truly inspiring. It's incredible to see how such a simple yet powerful ritual can transform people's lives in such meaningful ways. Finally, could you offer some advice to those looking to integrate Bhojanam Vidhi into their daily routines? I would encourage anyone who is interested in incorporating Bhojanam Vidhi into their daily routine to start slowly and with a sense of reverence. Even if you are new to these practices, begin with simple steps like chanting the Gayatri Mantra before eating or offering a moment of gratitude for the food before you start. The key is to bring awareness to the act of eating and recognize the sacredness of the food you are about to consume. If you are not yet familiar with the specific mantras of Bhojanam Vidhi, there are many resources available through the Art of Living that can guide you. The process doesn't need to be rushed. The more you practice with intention and mindfulness, the deeper the impact will be on your life. Above all, remember that Bhojanam Vidhi is not just a set of rituals, but a way to cultivate a deeper connection with the divine in every aspect of life. It's a reminder that every action, no matter how small, can be an offering of love and gratitude to the universe. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. This conversation has been incredibly enlightening, and I'm sure it will inspire many to approach their meals and daily lives with even greater mindfulness and reverence. Thank you for the opportunity to share. May all beings be nourished, not just by food, but by the love, peace, and awareness that come from the practices of Bhojanam Vidhi. Jai Gurudev, and thank you for your continued insights. I would like to explore the broader cultural impact of Bhojanam Vidhi in a world where food is often commodified or consumed hastily. How do you think this ritual can help bring about a shift in how people view not only food but also their entire lifestyle? Jai Gurudev, this is a very important point. Bhojanam Vidhi is a part of a larger cultural shift that invites us to treat every action, no matter how mundane, as an opportunity for spiritual growth. In today's world, food is often seen through the lens of convenience or indulgence, which can sometimes lead to unhealthy eating habits, wastefulness, and even a sense of disconnection from the food we consume. Bhojanam Vidhi stands as a powerful counterpoint to this by reintroducing reverence and mindfulness into the eating process. It asks us to slow down and reflect on our relationship with food. It is not just about eating something to fill our stomachs, it's about nourishing our bodies, minds, and spirits. By practicing this ritual, we begin to see food as a gift from the earth and a divine blessing, which naturally fosters gratitude and respect for the resources that go into preparing it. The ritual encourages us to live with a greater awareness, not just in the act of eating, but in how we approach all aspects of life. This awareness helps us to make more conscious decisions, whether it is about what food we consume, how much we waste, or how we interact with others. It becomes a reminder that every action, whether it is eating, working, or interacting with others, can be sacred if done with mindfulness and intention. This leads to a more holistic, balanced lifestyle where spiritual practices guide us everyday choices. It's amazing how Bhojanam Vidhi ties into a deeper lifestyle philosophy. Are there any specific environmental or health benefits that practitioners may experience by incorporating this practice into their daily lives? Absolutely. On a physical level, the act of slowing down and being mindful before and during meals can have tremendous health benefits. In a world where people often eat quickly while distracted by technology or work, This practice encourages us to be present and conscious during meals, which can improve digestion and overall health. For instance, when we eat mindfully, paying attention to each bite, savoring the taste, and expressing gratitude, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the body's rest and digest response. This leads to better digestion, absorption of nutrients, and a calmer, more peaceful state of mind. When we rush through meals or eat in a state of stress, digestion suffers and it can lead to issues like bloating, indigestion, or even weight gain. Bhojanam Vidhi helps people slow down and enter a state of peaceful eating, allowing the body to better process food. There is also the aspect of sattvic or pure eating that is emphasized in many spiritual traditions, including the art of living by offering prayers before eating, focusing on gratitude, and avoiding overindulgence. We help to cultivate a pure, healthy state of being. Consuming food with awareness also helps reduce overeating and fosters better choices in terms of what we eat. It guides us towards a diet that's light, balanced, and nourishing, which is beneficial for both physical health and mental clarity. In terms of environmental impact, the rituals of Bhojanam Vidhi can encourage us to think more deeply about where our food comes from, how it is produced, and the resources involved in its preparation. When we acknowledge that food is a divine gift, we develop a sense of respect for the earth and its ecosystems, which often leads to more sustainable, eco friendly choices in food sourcing, consumption, and waste management. Those are powerful insights, especially as we continue to face global challenges related to health and sustainability. Could you also speak about the role of community in Bhojanam Vidhi? And how does practicing this ritual in a group setting, such as during family meals or communal gatherings, deepen the experience? The communal aspect of Bhojanam Vidhi is one of the most beautiful elements of this practice. When performed individually, Bhojanam Vidhi helps establish a personal connection with the divine and the food. However, when this ritual is practiced in a group or family setting, the benefits become even more profound. Eating together as a community has always been a tradition in many cultures, especially in Hinduism, where food is often considered a form of social and spiritual bonding. When families, friends, or communities gather to perform Bhojanam Vidhi before a meal, it creates a shared sense of reverence and collective mindfulness. Everyone present is brought into the same sacred space where food is not just about physical sustenance but is acknowledged as a divine offering. In the context of family meals, Bhojanam Vidhi fosters a spirit of togetherness and gratitude. It encourages family members to slow down and connect with one another, turning the meal into a sacred ritual that strengthens family bonds. For children, especially, this practice can instill a sense of respect for food and deeper understanding of the values of gratitude, humility, and mindfulness. It's a beautiful way to impart spiritual teachings into while sharing nourishment. In larger spiritual and community settings, such as during festivals or communal gatherings in temples, Bhojanam Vidhi promotes unity and harmony. Everyone is bound together by the shared experience of honoring the food and acknowledging the divine. This sense of collective sanctity can help foster a sense of community, mutual respect, and spiritual growth. The shared prayers and chants create a powerful atmosphere of positive energy, and the food itself becomes a medium for spiritual connection. It seems like a Bhojanam Vidhi can be a transformative experience for individuals and communities alike. How do you think His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji's teachings on mindfulness and gratitude enhance the practice of Bhojanam Vidhi? His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji's teachings are deeply rooted in the idea of mindfulness and living with awareness in every moment. His emphasis on satsang, community gathering, sadhana, or spiritual practice and seva, selfless service, aligns perfectly with the essence of Bhojanam Vidhi. Through the practice of Bhojanam Vidhi, Gurudev guides us to infuse every action with reverence, love, and presence. For instance, in his teachings on gratitude, Gurudev often speaks about how even a simple act like eating can become a form of offering. He encourages us to express our thanks not only for the food, but for the larger forces that bring the food to us, from nature to the farmers and ultimately to the divine. This sense of gratitude enhances the act of Bhojanam Vidhi by transforming it from a routine act into a sacred offering. His teachings on mindfulness, which are integral to art of living practice, encourage us to be present in each moment, which is exactly what Bhojanam Vidhi asks us to do when we are eating, whether it is performing the ritual alone or in a group. We are invited to slow down, be fully present, and engage with the food in a conscious, mindful way. This is a direct application of Gurudev's teaching to live in the present moment with full awareness, offering our actions as a form of service to the divine. In addition, Gurudev often talks about how life itself is a celebration, and Bhojanam Vidhi turns eating into a celebration of life, health, and divine grace. It's a reminder that every action, no matter how simple, is an opportunity for inner growth, self realization, and connection with the larger universe. This is such a beautiful synthesis of spiritual and practical aspects of life. Thank you again for such a rich and enlightening discussion. Is there anything else you would like to share with our readers about the transformative power of Bhojanam Vidhi? It has been a pleasure to share these insights. I would like to leave our readers with this thought: Bhojanam Vidhi is not just a ritual, it's a doorway to a deeper connection with life. In a world that often encourages us to consume without awareness, this practice calls us to slow down, appreciate the sacredness of food, and recognize the divine presence in everything we do. By practicing Bhojanam Vidhi, we not only improve our physical health and emotional well-being, but we also deepen our spiritual awareness and foster a sense of gratitude for the abundance in our lives. It's a way to align our daily actions with the highest truths, and through this alignment, we experience a greater sense of peace, purpose, and connection to the divine. May everyone who practices Bhojanam Vidhi find not just nourishment for their body, but also spiritual fulfillment and joy in every meal they share. Thank you so much. Your words are truly inspiring. This interview has given us a lot to reflect upon, and I'm sure it will encourage many to approach their meals and life with greater reverence and mindfulness. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. May all beings be nourished, not only with food, but with love, light, and awareness. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev, this conversation has been an eye opening as we delve deeper into the significance of Bhojanam Vidhi. Could you elaborate on how it helps in fostering emotional and mental well being, especially in the context of today's fast paced lifestyle? Jai Gurudev, absolutely. In today's world where we often rush through meals or eat under stress, perhaps at our desk or in front of a screen, we are missing out on the nourishment that comes from truly being present with the food. Bhojanam Vidhi acts as a countermeasure to this hurried lifestyle by inviting us to pause, be still, and connect deeply with the food before us. This practice helps not only in grounding us physically, but also in nurturing our mental and emotional health. First, when we take the time to say a prayer before our meal and sprinkle water around a plate, we are cultivating a sense of mindfulness. This mindfulness can help calm our minds and reduce anxiety. The repetitive act of chanting mantras and focusing on the sacredness of the food centers the mind and allows us to move away from distractions. This moment of calmness creates a sense of balance, which can have profound effects on our emotional state. It's a chance to leave behind any stresses and instead engage in a ritual that emphasizes gratitude, peace, and divine connection. Emotionally, Bhojanam Vidhi can be incredibly uplifting. It helps us shift from a place of patience, impatience, or dissatisfaction to one of contentment and gratitude. When we are mindful of our food and when we recognize that each bite is a gift, it naturally nurtures a sense of appreciation for life's blessings. Gratitude, as we know, has a positive impact on mental well being, fostering joy, reducing negative emotions, and increasing emotional resilience. By performing Bhojanam Vidhi, we align ourselves with a higher vibration of gratitude, which helps us navigate life's challenges with a sense of calm and perspective. Mentally, this ritual creates a spiritual anchor. Just as meditation calms the mind and fosters clarity, Bhojanam Vidhi works similarly by bringing us back to the present moment, where we can be more aware of the food we eat and the act of nourishment itself. By practicing this ritual daily, the mind learns to slow down, savor the moment, and embrace the sacred in the mundane. This cultivates mental clarity, reduces mental clutter, and enhances overall focus. That makes a lot of sense. It seems like Bhojanam Vidhi serves as a holistic practice, addressing not only the body but also the mind and spirit. On a larger scale, how can the practice of Bhojanam Vidhi help address social issues such as food waste, overconsumption, or unhealthy eating habits? The practice of Bhojanam Vidhi has a profound impact on how we relate to food on a societal level. First and foremost, it emphasizes the sacredness of food and encourages us to view it with respect and gratitude. When we see food as a divine gift, it naturally becomes more difficult to waste it. This respect and reverence directly combat the rampant food waste problem we see in many parts of the world. In communities where Bhojanam Vidhi is practiced, people tend to be more mindful about serving only what is necessary and consuming what is served. This helps in reducing food waste and both at the individual and community levels. By acknowledging food as an offering to the divine, the practice fosters a deep respect for it, and people become more conscious of the amount they take and how much they consume. This is particularly important in a society where portion sizes are often exaggerated and food waste is a significant problem. In terms of overconsumption, Bhojanam Vidhi teaches us moderation by practicing rituals like the offering of food to the divine before eating and avoiding overeating, as seen in the Prana Ahuti step. We train ourselves to consume mindfully without indulgence or excess. This has a direct benefit in promoting a balanced sattvic diet that aligns with our physical, emotional, and spiritual needs rather than our desires or cravings. It's a form of self regulation that supports a healthy relationship with food. Additionally, as Bhojanam Vidhi places emphasis on food being a sacred offering, it naturally encourages individuals to choose food that is pure, nourishing, and in alignment with their health. The practice can, over time, influence people to make healthier food choices, not just in terms of nutrition, but also by encouraging a vegetarian diet or supporting sustainable food practices, which are in line with both the ethical and spiritual aspects of this tradition. Finally, from a social perspective, Bhojanam Vidhi reinforces a sense of community and collective responsibility around food. Whether it's through shared meals in a family or temple setting, the ritual reminds us that food is not just for personal satisfaction, but also for the well being of the community. This fosters a sense of responsibility and empathy towards others, helping to alleviate issues such as food insecurity or inequality in food distribution. You have made some great points about food as a sacred offering and how that shapes a relationship with it. How can the younger generation, especially those living in urbanized environments, connect with and benefit from this practice in today's fast paced world? This is an important question, especially as the younger generation is so immersed in technology, social media, and an ever increasing pace of life. The key to connecting the younger generation to Bhojanam Vidhi is to help them understand that the practice isn't about going back to some old fashioned way of life. It's about integrating mindfulness, spirituality, and balance into their contemporary lifestyle. One of the ways we can introduce Bhojanam Vidhi to the younger generation is by simplifying and contextualizing it in a way that resonates with them. For example, in the art of living, we often teach young people how to incorporate mindful eating into their busy routines. It's not about a rigid ritual, but about fostering awareness. They can start by taking just a few moments before a meal to pause, express gratitude, and focus on the nourishment that food provides both physically and spiritually. It's less about following every single detail of the Bhojanam Vidhi and more about embracing the spirit of the practice, gratitude, mindfulness, and reverence. Additionally, for urban dwellers who may not always have the time to sit down for a meal with family, Bhojanam Vidhi can be incorporated into smaller moments throughout the day, even during a lunch break or at work or a quick meal at home. They can practice the first step of the ritual, the Abhojanam, the pre-meal prayer, as a grounding exercise. This helps bring them back to the present moment, especially in a fast paced, distracted environment. By practicing even a simplified version of this ritual, they start experiencing the benefits of mindfulness and gratitude without feeling overwhelmed by the formalities. Furthermore, in the era of sustainability, many younger individuals are already concerned with ethical eating, environmental impact, and health. By incorporating the teachings of Bhojanam Vidhi, they can connect their spiritual practices to these concerns, realizing that mindful eating can lead to more ethical food choices, better health, and reduced wastage. Lastly, with the growing popularity of wellness and mindfulness practices among the youth, Bhojanam Vidhi can be presented as a complementary aspect of holistic well being, a way to harmonize the body, mind, and spirit. This approach would make the practice feel relevant even in the context of modern life. It's great to hear how adaptable the practice can be to modern times. Finally, as we wrap up, what would you say is the most powerful takeaway from Bhojanam Vidhi for someone who is just beginning to learn about it? The most powerful takeaway from Bhojanam Vidhi is the deep sense of reverence it instills towards food and by extension life itself. It's a reminder that food is not just sustenance for the body, but a divine gift that nourishes us physically, mentally, and spiritually. The practice invites us to slow down and connect with the moment, to be grateful for the abundance we receive, and to acknowledge the interconnectedness of our life, or someone just starting to learn about it, I would say that the biggest benefit is the transformation in how they perceive food. What begins as a simple ritual can grow into a powerful daily practice that nurtures not just the body but also the soul. It teaches us to be conscious of what we consume, how we consume it, and the energy we bring to the act of eating. Over time, this can lead to greater peace, improved health, and a deeper connection to the divine presence in our everyday lives. Bhojanam Vidhi, when practiced with intention, offers a bridge between the material and the spiritual, making every meal a sacred experience, and that is a truly transformative way to live. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. Your insights have not only deepened our understanding of Bhojanam Vidhi, but also reminded us of the importance of mindfulness and gratitude in our daily lives. We hope many will be inspired to incorporate this sacred practice into their lives. It's been a pleasure. I'm hopeful that everyone who reads this interview will find a way to bring mindfulness, gratitude, and reverence into their lives through Bhojanam Vidhi. May your meals always be blessed with peace and divine grace. Jai Gurudev.